When the markets drop, you need a drop of Nelson's blood, a bit of courage in you to see if you can get through the waves of the markets. It's pretty turbulent at the minute, dropping down to 169 on GameStop over here. In this episode of Technical Analysis, we'll be looking at GameStop stock and AMC in a couple of minutes, and then after that, we'll take a look at some cryptocurrency. We're looking to see if we can get the wind back in our sails on this one and on several others, including the likes of Newegg and other stocks being traded out there that have had a big dip today so far. Back down to 169 here with GameStop, and that is a price that fills in the rocky outcrop flash indicator. Equilibrium achieved. Are we able to get the wind in our sails? Moving up above 173 on this one would maybe do that for us. These drawings that are on the chart here are from yesterday's show. It is showing us the detail actually of what took us down to here. Now I'm going to just remove these from the charts because they are cluttering up the screen here, and instead what we're going to just look at is a couple of key price points. One of them is right here where we get the wind in our sails. One of them is up here, and we're going to call that the horn, and I'll use drawings to show you those rather than words in a moment or two. You've also got AMC over here. We'll find out where the wind would get in our sails and where the horn would be on this one, and we'll take a look at a couple other stocks and then move on to crypto with this in the background to cheer us along the way. So remember folks, a drop of Nelson's blood at times like this is all it takes to see you through. Are you with me?
Oh, we'd be alright if the wind was in our sails. We'd be alright if the wind was in our sails. We'd be alright if the wind was in our sails. And we'll all hang on behind, and we'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all hang on behind. Oh, it'd be alright if we make it around the horn. Oh, it'd be alright if we make it around the horn. Oh, it'd be alright if we make it around the horn, and we'll all hang on behind, and we'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all hang on behind. Well, a night on the town wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, a night on the town wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, a night on the town wouldn't do us any harm, and we'll all hang on behind, and we'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old, we'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all hang on behind. Well, another festival wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, another festival wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, another festival wouldn't do us any harm, and we'll all hang on behind, and we'll roll the old, we'll roll the old, we'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all hang on behind, and we'll roll the old chariot, we'll roll the old chariot along, we'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all hang on behind.
I hope you were singing along with it as we were going along on the charts. That's Newegg looking to get above 1550. We really need to see the prices above 1644 if we actually want to have a resurgence into sort of good positive price action. As it stands at the minute, we're having a bit of a correction, and it is okay to see the prices coming down to where they've come down to. We did realize that there was, of course, consolidation on the charts, and this takes us right down beyond the fake out territory initially and actually moving down to somewhere where we could actually start to think about whether or not we've got 60% of that move. However, as it stands right now, it's worth pointing out on this chart specifically that we have actually got a measured move taking us back down for a retest of the wedge should we actually cascade any further really than this point. So we're looking to kind of think about managing risk at $15 on this one. Heading back around again on our sailing boat over here to see the GME prices. It's worth pointing out that at this point this is an inflection point for us as well, and movements below 168, that sort of thing, is taking out this prior low over here, and we don't want to see that. As it stands in terms of the movements on the way down, we've got bullish divergence with this recent fill in with the flash. That's exactly what we wanted to see happen given yesterday's price action. Wonderful stuff. If it does resurge from here, everybody's going to be looking back and saying, haha, well, you guys, you really nailed it. Of course, the benefit to us with patience is makes it so that we've got the ability to manage our risk a hell of a lot easier. Over here on AMC, checking in with the prices at $28 would of course be getting the wind in our sails. If we want to make it round the horn, then we're looking to $31. Oh, the prices are all a bit squished up there. Anyway, it was a different time frame. That was at the 5-minute time frame. So you can see the $31 if you really want to start kind of looking up towards those higher targets. $28 down here at the minute, kicking about and having had lows of 27.18 today. Previously, down there at 26. We did actually get down and fill in an area more or less that we needed to see happen. But as it stands, this consolidation which is occurring below $28 just remains negative. So we really do need to get the wind in our sails to actually start moving up. Otherwise, we're looking to $22 next on that one would be, or $22 next. You don't want to be thinking about that though. We want to be looking at being above $28 because then we can start targeting 31 kind of more or less as the next resurgent point. We have to obviously be aware of 29 in the meantime. There are plenty of other things we could be looking at for you if you're interested with those types of information like the RSI, etc. Let me know. But in the meantime, we've got this small downward trend that's got a degree of strength to it, and we really do need to see those prices turn around. As it stands in the 15-minute time frame, we're also seeing that negativity in there, and it's when you get up to the higher time frames you see that we've actually been in a negative stance for quite a while, and all of this has been building up to seeing, can we see things turn around and get this bounce in here rather than in the previous hopium section. So we're actually at the point where that drop of Nelson's blood is needed for us, and it gives us, when we stretch it back out again and eventually look to where we had previous lows, etc., and comparing our MACD, we can see that this is the time for us to really kind of put that in there as saying that this is the low in that momentum and turn it towards the top side. Or we could of course cascade on further down in terms of prices. There's a big gap of space below us. So here's the Bitcoin chart for us, and it's quite simply put like this. If we get the prices up above 57k and actually get follow through there, then I think it's time to start to look towards 62, and then thereafter, can we hit those $71,000 targets to actually keep trending towards the top side? If we actually do get up there, then very, very good. But here and now, there is still a lot of danger for us to be aware of. Want to point out that when we came down for this movement towards the downside, we actually came into a bearish area on the RSI, and that does change conditions for us. And while we want to be really positive about this, while the prices are below that 57k, it's not so positive. Now there was bullish divergence between the last two lows just in here. Looking at this movement down came in bullishly divergent. Since then we resurged up the way, but actually didn't take out any market structure with regards to our previous areas up here. So what we need to do is actually push past that and get follow through to start trending up the way. Otherwise, if we make it back into the bearish control zone and take out these lows, then of course we could be looking down again a bit shallower, even further still. So where we're managing our risk on this one is coming in here at our previous lows around sort of 53k area, looking up towards the 62k area for inflection, and then on beyond that for 71k, and then 80,000 would be the next target afterwards. Broad picture stuff here, but it is the 4-hour time frame, and we could absolutely get there in the not too distant future, relying on on this to work out for us as a pattern is one thing, but just kind of keeping our eye out for if we can actually turn this into bullish conditions as opposed to being rejected there outside of the bullish control zone or in coming back down that way. That's what we're kind of looking out for in the meantime on this one, the bearish divergence or the bullish divergence visible across the board on those oscillators. But like I say, with regards to this one, there's still the potential for it to be negative as we live in chop territory here as opposed to really trending strength action. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. What else do we have out there now? If you're interested in GME, etc., then you're interested perhaps in loop ring, living just in this top end of this parallel, this pitchfork here. You know, it does lead to you being able to make questions about whether or not we're trending down, because this is our last significant low. If I just hide the drawings here and put it on the 24-hour time frame to kind of merge this a bit, it does leave us to ask questions about whether or not we start to trend down here if we break kind of the imaginary support lines that we can draw in here. Now we're looking okay though. We've obviously had to come down, get the wind in our sails, a drop of Nelson's blood, etc. Push up past the 382 price point in here at 2269. We're doing pretty nifty at the minute at 240. Not so great. A little bit of news on this front is that, you know, KuCoin just opened up a perpetual trade-in futures contract on this, and who knows, you know, there's a degree of kind of additional liquidity which is coming in the market and a little bit more volatility, and we're seeing that expressed in the last 24 hours of price action. The 1 hour time frame taking us down to 239, so we're getting a bit of pressure on for us here. The lack of bullish divergence showing up here on the 1 hour time frame is obviously not very comforting. Scrolling back out the way and just kind of disregarding the price action that happened in this chunk and kind of comparing the low here to the prior lows and thinking, well, you know, so long as we stay above these areas, given that the RSI's come so low, then you're looking at having hidden bullish divergence in there, and a resurgence at this point when we go back up to the 24-hour time frame would tie in with this having this overall upward structure to it. But like I say, it kind of, at the minute, if you're looking for this overall upward structure, since we're so close towards the downside aspect of that, we're actually thinking about it from the points of view of whether or not we go past those key pivot areas for us. So 216 obviously being one of them, 225, 216, not so great. Being where we are right now, it's kind of in no man's territory. It is just a retest of the top end of that pitchfork. One last kind of look at that, by the way, for people who are very interested. If I just bring up the charts full screen. Sorry about this here for a second. Thanks for your patience, etc. Just to show you this pitchfork, you know, I've extended it out with these additional lines towards the outside. If I take away that one, then you're kind of, you know, you're looking at this and saying, oh, I see how that's, how you can see how this is testing off of these areas, and then it's come in here to test down to another lower area on the pitchfork, you know. So staying within this, fairly negative. Moving down obviously is kind of getting past those pivot points and capitulating, coming back up towards the top end at 248, 250, still kind of no man's land territory as I pop the extension back onto this thing up at number 2. And what we're looking towards is really, you know, if we want to start trending up the way, it's not until you're at 280 and stuff like that you're looking for that to test if that momentum is staying with you or if it's just simply a bounce. So that's where we are right now. The 236 on this, as incidentally, has right now here at the time of recording, it will be coming into getting a fill if we can get any sort of follow through on this price action, and a nice little resurgence there at an area where it could have obviously had that. Gives you that little look of a V. Failure here though, and you know the story already, so you didn't tune in for the live shows. You know, other things that we like to talk about out there in the world existing are things like Tezos, for instance, another cryptocurrency having a bit of a struggle here back at $5, but this is actually a bad chart for it, lack of liquidity. Normally they don't look like that. Look, it's come back down to that $5 price point, but you know what? It's a higher low again here, having put in those highs. Now, kind of the point that I was making before, and this is why I've come here to this chart when I was looking at that loop ring thing, is when you're kind of considering to yourself whether or not you've got this type of an upward movement at an area where it's had that previous big parabolic move up and then it's going in a channel that way. We are going to keep an eye out for whether or not we kind of cascade down past a little pivot, because then of course we could be going down to that next level on down the way. So looking at that in the same way with LRC there. That's the show for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you hit the like button and share it with your friends. Had a bit of a sing along there. That dude will get the copyright on the video. So happy advertising days to you, buddy. And yeah, so just leave a comment down below, share it with your friends, hit like and all that sort of stuff, and sing a song sometime.